Hey folks, welcome to Kaisers Kastle. Take a seat on my big orange couch. We're about to go in depth in something that really needs to be discussed on American culture. Um, Here's what I have to say on that. There is a distinct American culture. It's been around since the day we were founded. It's been based upon the subject of being a republic. Remember, a republic is actually a rule of law. And what we see now is that they keep saying consistently that we are a democracy. Well, a democracy means nothing more than mob rule. So the latter mob will always rule. And with this beautiful information age, quote unquote, what you find, in all honesty, is a group of louts who have a loud voice, and from the last administration of Obabala, they have the ability, because of people like, and people need to research this stuff, with Eric Schmidt from Google. I remember there was somebody I made a long time ago on another platform, an explanation of a guy named Schmidt, who was a lieutenant colonel in the Stasi. And there's probably a relationship there, along with the CIA, in my opinion. And what you'll find is the guy said, I wished I could do what NSA could have done, because he could have preserved East Germany. Like I said, you need to research stuff. I'm not going to give you everything. You need to look shit up. Now, every republic has always fallen by the same people, from Greece to Rome. We can go to Weimar, and now America. And it's usually about a 200-year run. And it's always degeneracy that causes it to fall and collapse. And it's fomented by the same people. The globalists, the media, those kind of people, right? They all echo. This is a problem. The only way that problem can be fixed, and we all know the way it can be fixed, and you have to have somebody willing to fix it and also leave in a peaceful manner, which is hard to do because egos get involved. I haven't seen anybody I would trust with that kind of fix at this point. The one thing America does have, but Rome had a similar thing, where we have a protection of arms. And also our soldiers were not supposed to cross the Rubicon. The difference that we have now is our soldiers won't, I believe this, will not cross the Rubicon, being a former military policeman. And there is a difference between a military policeman and a civil policeman, or even a federal policeman. The reason why is because it's a whole separate, different rules that you have to follow. One's the UCMJ, the other one's whatever your state dictates. Not going to get into my specific state, or the USC, United States Code. These are for real things that people need to look at. I'm always a big proponent of 1984 color of law. It's what keeps the police in check. And honestly, the men on that thin blue line that I know, they maintain their stature of high standing with me because they still follow what everybody likes to call their civil rights. No, it's your Bill of Rights. Now, with that said, what you're seeing with the American culture is very definable. We had a culture. Me being half German, thanks to my good, loving mother, ich bin Deutsche, and then me being half Italian. And what I'll tell you is, I understand a few things, having served in Europe when the wall was up. And really, when the wall was up, it brings back some thought processes to me. And we can talk about all kinds of things. But the reality is, I'm very proud of my Italian ancestry. I know who my father was, even though I'm a bastard. And you should too. It's just the way life works. And if you don't know your history, and this is where I'm going with this, so don't get autistic with me. And you guys, I know you will, a lot of you, and that's okay. You can let the hate flow in the comments. But what I'll tell you that I do know is that in all honesty, here's how America worked. It worked very specifically on one thing. It worked that we had a social contract under a republic. It was not under a democracy, because democracy is mob rule. And mob rule is never right. And yet you're seeing it implemented now by the SJWs and all the other people. What you're seeing that they're doing, and I see it very clearly, what you're seeing is they're pushing an agenda that violates the Second Amendment. And a lot of people are freaking out at this point. And what they're freaking out about is they're saying, well, Trump's going to give up the Second Amendment, da-da-da-da-da. Well, Trump is the master of the troll. Most of the people I know, we all did trolling. You know, we know how to troll. The funny thing to me is that people forget what got him into office. And when you saw Feinstein doing her little Wicked Witch of the West and her vigorous hand rubbing, it made me laugh. So stereotypical. The only thing missing is the shekels. And it's always been the same people that cause a republic that fell. You know, they let in the foreigners, like our 1965 Immigration Act, that will not assimilate. Same thing with Rome. Same thing with Weimar Germany. Same thing with Greece. It echoes throughout eternity. And it's a fact. Nobody can dispute. It just keeps happening. So, my thought process. When you notice something, and I've gotten heat from this too, because I happen to be a noticer, right? That's problematic. Yeah, it is problematic. It's problematic for the people who notice, and it's problematic for the people who don't want you to notice. This is not, we're not playing child games. This is something that's been thought out. And I know a couple friends of mine will disagree with me, and that's fine. I can disagree without being disagreeable, and I'm not going to even mention their name, but I know who they are. What they fail to have, I'm a Gen Xer, I'm not a boomer, but I'm going to be 50. So here's my thing. I stood in Germany. I saw a divided Europe. I saw what it looked like. When people talk about Gladio, they don't even know the realities of it. You know, when people talk about the different IC agencies back then, they don't even know the reality of it. You know, all these, I love these new guys that think they know everything and think they know everybody, but they don't. But what I do know, and what I'll tell you and what I'll share, is that there's a major problem. And that problem's not problematic, because there's always a fix to a problem, and if you can't identify the problem and fix the problem, then why do you bring it up? And that problem is located right here in the US of A, America. Fuck yeah, right? And it's the Frankfurt School, cultural Marxism. And this is why I know they'll disagree. They think it's the same side being funded by the same people. And what they don't realize is those same people they think are coming from academia, who have been indoctrinated. And they think it's the same side because they work for the same agency. They don't realize there's a hot civil war going on within the IC, within the military, within every agency, except, and I do put the except into it, the IG. Most of them are honest brokers. The Inspector General's service, look at their little emblem. You'll see what I mean. They have a nice little tight bundle of sticks with an axe. What you also see is the sheriffs. Most sheriffs, barring the Florida sheriff and probably any other sheriff that people will dispute, I will not fight them, but I know locally our sheriffs are very constitutional oriented and will not violate the constitutional oaths because they have to face re-election. So they have to be accountable, and it's the same thing with the IG. This is why law enforcement has to be accountable. When you have DOJ and FBI acting the way they did, right? We all know what they did. And look at the Mueller probe and Rosenstein from DOJ. You'll see what I mean. This stuff is out of hand. And when people defend the rank and file of any federal agency, I will also tell you DOD is probably the most stalwart defender of our republic at this time. This is a critical time, folks. They can pull me off YouTube quicker than they already tried when I didn't even make a post. This one they might pull me off because I'm naming and shaming. Facebook has got you in little ghettos now, you know, because it's nice because they've picked what groups you need to see. They've picked whose posts you need to see. What they didn't realize is people would notice the shadow banning when you go to your news feed, and all of a sudden you're seeing, oh, I can't see my wife, I can't see my twin sister. What's this about? But guess what? I can see every little group that I belong to that's controversial. So there's going to be a mass banning. I'm telling you this now. There's going to be a mass banning of everybody that has countering opinions. I already know this. They've already done it to one friend. He had to open up a whole different... I'm not outing him because at least he's good to go and he's getting his product out. You know, I'm a stalwart defender of that. More speech, not less speech. I don't know where we went wrong. I know where it started. And I can tell you it was in the 80s. I'm not a boomer, but I'm a Gen Xer. And I saw where this started. And I saw the lies. And I can tell you, Tom Brokaw, Peter Jennings, Dan Rather, ABC, NBC, CBS, and CNN. But the big three was Tom Brokaw, Peter Jennings, and Dan Rather. And now, yeah, thank God, Peter Jennings, the Canadian, wasn't even a fucking American. He shaped people's minds in our country. Brokaw, friend of Hunter S. Thompson. Nobody can deny. You know who else was? Remember old 60 Minutes star had an earring in his ear? I can't think of his name right now. Black guy. He was a friend of Hunter. Hunter S. Thompson, I love his books. They're great creative writing aspects of his fucking drug trips. But guess what? It wasn't real. So now, every day, perpetually, we're treated to these media fucks giving us their drug trips. Rather got busted for fake news about Bush W. Not that I'm a fan or whatever, but I'm glad he got busted with that. Because he was always a bag of shit. And so he's nobody. But they bring back Tom Brokaw. And hopefully this feeds in. But I want to play you a little clip of what Tom Brokaw had to say. And this is typical SJW shit. Where everybody's a Nazi, everybody's a racist. And it's so funny. So here we go.
There's a lot of controversy around this network about Alex Jones, for example. But the fact is that he is an unalloyed racist, a man who's out there pulling the pin on the grenade every day, and he has 6 million viewers who are paying attention to him.
Now, the reason why that's especially delightful is you have somebody like Alex Jones, and unfortunately, people forget a couple things. One is, who broke the mess on the dress that made Bill Clinton confess about Monica Lewinsky? And I bet none of you will remember this. You'll say it's Matt Drudge. Matt Drudge is nothing more than a collation source. You know what it was? I'm about to tell you. It was the National Enquirer, which was the equivalent of Alex Jones back then. And Alex Jones has got a lot more right than the National Enquirer. You know, the people that said, you know, Jimmy Carter saw aliens. That shit. You see how funny this is? Like I've said, and I'm going to continue to say, everything that is old is new. Nothing changes. What's new is old. What's old is new. It just keeps recycling. Trying to make this as basic as I can for you guys. There is a fix. There truly is. And if I knew how to implement it, I would. But honestly, I don't, because they have got so many people so fraudulently believing that everybody who's doing anything is some sort of Russian bot. There's too many people that believe this stupid shit. But the funny thing is Alex Jones has 6 million. And what does CNN have? 100,000. They're losing the war. That's why they're going to try to shut everything down. They don't want you to have freedom on the net. Why do you think Obama's little thing happened? Where he didn't want us that net neutrality. He didn't want us to be able to talk. He didn't want everybody else's voices. Look, I'm happy with the few people I have on my page. I don't need to be Alex Jones. I don't monetize. I don't do anything other than try to get my voice out. Yes, I've taken down my tone, but my tone is real, and it still will maintain. I will not disavow a thing I've ever put out, and I will not back down. And this is something that used to be common in the 70s, 80s, and 90s with men and women. We would say what we had to say. And yes, notice, when I said the American culture, I said everybody who assimilated. Guess what we have now? We have people that have been here for years. And all of a sudden they're showing their true colors because they thought they had license to. And they are showing their true colors. They are not assimilated. They are not American. And if you want to call me un-American for calling them out, I'm good with that. Because I know what America is. America is a peaceful, gracious country that is very accepting of faults. It's accepting of trailer trash like me becoming somebody, which I have done in my personal life. Maybe not on YouTube because I'm just not that cool. But what I found, it's also forgiving as long as you own up to your mistakes. As long as you own up to everything you do and you don't lie about it. These are the things I found in my short life of almost half a century now. Damn. Time flies, fun. Have fun, guys. It's going to happen to you. Everybody that wants to say, oh, you got a little pudgy. Yeah, well, I still am in the game and you're not. So, when I bring this stuff up, I'm trying to bring some institutional knowledge. And those 3 fucktards I brought up, I'm still trying to remember that CNN guy's name besides Wolf Blitzer, who's totally useless. Their ratings are going down while YouTube is going up. But YouTube, because of Schmidt, Eric Schmidt, he's the reason this is going sideways on YouTube. And then we always got to remember Zuckerberg. He's going to screw that up too. Look for alternative media outlets. But also, stay on as long as you can. Hold on to that ground. I use my normie account because I'm a normal guy. And the whole point of this is to become people who are normal, not compounding themselves out and disassociating with society. No. Enjoy your community that you live in. Become a part of it. That's the whole point of this. There's no way to become a part of the community if you separate yourself out. There is a fix. And the fix is rational thought. Not, I'm going to bounce away and just be all by myself with my people in my own little thought tunnel. I know the SJWs, I know the cultural Marxists, well, they want to platform deny. That's what they do. But that's not what you do. So you have to keep it that way. Don't fall into their trap, man. I mean, there's a whole lot of people out there that would love to put you in their trap. Don't do it. YouTube tried to do it to me. I just posted the pic of it, and I'm still swinging because I won my rebuttal. So, as I say, you're on the point of the sword when you're riding with me. And I am swordpoint9. And you've come into Kaisers Kastle and taken a seat on my big orange couch. So I hope you're all comfy. Don't get dissuaded. Don't get discouraged. Keep swinging. Much love. You guys have a great night or a great day, morning, wherever you're at. Bye. Shuff out.